One of the reasons why we continue to work on the monologue in the workshops is because the monologue trains you for one of the most important things that skills that you could have as a storyteller and a director for the right story, and that's emotional state management, learning how to manage your state. And one of the fundamentals that I teach, I call it state before story. That's focus on the emotional state, and then the wordsmithing and the sequencing and the that all comes on the surface. But the beneath the surface, the emotion, that more often than not gets swept under the rug. So you've got to identify what is the feeling that I want to have moment to moment. And the monologue trains you for that. Within a 3 to 5 minute time frame, you've got these myriad of moments that you, the director or the storyteller for the right story that must be told, have to be on the lookout for. You've got to be able to identify what is the feeling in this moment that I want my listener to feel. I go on this hike, this kick-ass hike. This is last week, and it's about 5 minutes from where I live, and I go up in the mountains and the winding pathways, and it's starting to get a little hot, and then I make my way all the way back towards the parking lot. And on the way to the parking lot, there's this big kind of park area in this area called Rock Ledge. There's kids, there's dogs, and I mean, it's like a community little park that you kind of walk through on the way to the parking spot. And this is where the incident occurs. I'd love to say that it was up in the mountains and I could fulfill this grandiose Grizzly Adams image of me, but it happens in this play area, and I got to go pee pee. And I'm like, there's not many people around, so I thought, oh, screw it, So I start to pee, and then I hear this low kind of whooping sound, like woo, woo. At first, I think it's like a bird or something, and I'm like, what is that sound? Then I hear this rustling of leaves and branches, and I'm peering in the woods in front of me. I've stopped peeing at this point, and I'm not seeing anything, and then I hear this sound. I'm looking, I'm like, where the hell is that? And then I look up, and this fucker's in the tree, a bear. Not a huge bear, not, the comic massive grizzly, the thing like in Leonardo DiCaprio's The Departed. But it's or The Revenant, or wherever the hell that movie, where he's eviscerated by the bear. But this thing is big. I mean, and it is big, and it's not so big that you would immediately want to lay down flat. But I'm not so far away from them that I would immediately want to lay down flat. But I look up, and this thing is looking at me, and snarling at me, and I think it's going to pounce. And again, I've got enough distance where if I were that close, I probably would have laid down flat. Hopefully, I don't know. But I had enough distance where I just slowly did one of these things and slowly backed up, and he's still doing all that shit. And then when I get enough distance away, I said this the other day, I was like Forrest Gump on crack. I mean, I hauled ass. So we have two different states so far. We have the elated state, the feeling of fulfillment coming back from the hike, and God knows the fulfillment of being able to go potty when nobody's looking. It feels terrific. And then what's the emotional state of seeing this bear on me? And that's two. And then the third one, as I'm running like hell, I go up this rise, kind of a grassy hill, and on top of the hill there's this family, and they're all having snacks and hanging out, this mom and dad and their two kids. I'm like, it's a freaking bear, man. There's a bear down there. Rather than have a little empathy, the father, let's just say he was wearing a lot of red. He looks over at me and he says, I don't see any bear. And all I see are a bunch of turkeys. I'm like, what? And then there are these 3 turkeys hobbling around. I'm like, and I make some joke. I said, well, this turkey is hauling ass because I saw a bear, and then I get out of there. 3 different emotional states. I didn't clock it, under about 5 minutes. Well, maybe a little bit more with the introduction. But that's what you want to be on the lookout for. Anyway, that's my bear share.